Okay, this is a tutorial on compositions. If you have not yet completed the assessment or reassessment for compositions, this will give you a lesson on how to complete a composition. You should print out a blank copy of this tutorial page and use it as I go along through the video and work through each of these problems. Okay, a composition is when we take a function and place it inside a different function and then combine like terms or possibly simplify, and we're left with just an algebraic expression. Okay, we're not going to end up getting a solution for anything on this page here. And the way we know that is by the fact that I have a variable here inside the composition. So this symbol, this open circle symbol, is the symbol that stands for composition. And the fact that there's an X in this spot here tells us that we're going to end up with an expression, just an algebraic sentence. It's not an equation. There's no equal sign. We're not going to end up getting a value or a number for our answer. We're just going to get like a math sentence, basically. That's what an algebraic expression is. So what we're doing here is composing G into F. This is telling us F of G of X. That's how we read this, F of G of X. So we rewrite this F of G of X. We rewrite it like this with the parentheses to show us visually exactly what we need to do. What we need to do is to take the G equation. So we're going to take G of X. We're going to insert it inside the F equation. So G of X is going to go inside F of X. So they've given me a list of the different functions, and what I want to do is find the G equation, which is here. I'm going to take what G of X is equal to, and I'm going to insert that into the F function in place of X. So it's actually going to go right here in this spot in place of that X. So this X that's here is no longer going to be there. It's getting replaced. We're substituting all of this in place of the X that's there right now. So this X goes away and the other expression fits inside there. So we're going to have 5 times all of G and then continue to copy down the rest of the F equation. From here, you do whatever math you're capable of doing. So I'm going to distribute the 5 across the parentheses here. So negative 15x, and then plus 10, bring down the subtract 7. So now I've gotten rid of the parentheses. I just look to see if there's any terms that I can combine. It looks like I can combine these two terms because they are alike. Negative 15x plus 3. Okay, there's not anything else that I can do. So I've now completed this composition. That's it. All done. Okay, so you try the next one. I'm going to clean this up here. I'm going to help to get you started, and then you should pause the video and give yourself a moment to try to solve the next composition and then check to see if we've gotten the same answer. So number 2 is asking us to find j of h of x. J of h of x. And so we'll rewrite it, j of h of x. So I'm going to take the h equation and insert it inside the j equation in place of x. So I'm going to take all of h, and then I will bring it over here and substitute it in place of x in the j equation. Okay, so this x is going to go away because it's being replaced with all of this. So that means I'm going to have x squared minus 16. All of this has now replaced that. And then finish copying down the rest of the j equation. Look to see what you can combine, what terms you're able to combine. We can combine these two terms here. So x squared minus 13. Check to see if there's anything else you can do. Can you possibly simplify or factor? But I'm not able to do anything further. So this is my final answer. That is the simplest form. Okay. Next, we have a couple of combinations. So similarly, number 3 has addition, number 4 has subtraction. So these are no longer compositions, they're just telling us to either add or subtract the two functions together. I'm going to take f of x, I'm going to add to it g of x. So look at your choices up there. F of x, let's copy down the f equation, the whole thing. So 5x minus 7, that's the f of x equation. We're going to add that to the entire g of x equation. And adding is just combining the like terms. So let's combine these two terms because they are alike. And then let's combine these two terms because they are alike. Check to see if it's possible to simplify anything. And if not, then I am finished. Subtraction is very similar to addition. We're going to take the h equation and then subtract from that the j equation, but I have to be very careful when it comes to subtraction because I have to subtract the entire equation. So that means every term in j has to be subtracted. So we just want to be really careful with that. So look up at your choices, copy down h of x, the equation h of x. And then we're going to subtract. I'm purposely writing the subtraction symbol here in a different color. And I'm using these brackets to separate it because we have to make sure and subtract each individual term. So I'm copying down j of x inside the bracket, and it's like distributing this negative across all of j. So this subtraction has to go for this term here and also this one. So x squared minus 16, subtract x, and then subtract 3. So now let's combine our like terms. I'm not able to combine x squared and the negative x. Those are not like terms. I can't combine those, but I can combine these constants. There's not anything else I'm able to do with that. It cannot be factored or simplified any further. So here I have my answer. Okay, see if you can do the next one, number 5. This is another composition, h of j of x. So pause the video and see if you can do this one on your own. This time we're going to take the j equation and insert it in place of x in the h equation. So it's going to go in, let's see, in here in place of x. So this x is not going to be there any longer. We're replacing that with all of this stuff. And at the squared, the exponent of 2, that's going to stay as well as the minus 16. So x plus 3, this whole thing gets squared, and then subtract 16. And for our purposes here, we can just leave that as is. There's no need to go any further on that one. The last one here is multiplication. This symbol here is not the composition symbol. Notice the difference between this symbol, which is an open circle, and this symbol, which is closed. They're different. This is telling me to multiply. So it's saying multiply the f equation times the g equation. So we'll copy down f of x as well as g of x. G of x. Okay. The way we multiply these two binomials is by FOIL. First, outer, inner, and last. So the first terms I multiply, I'll get negative 15x squared. Outer terms, inner terms, and then last. Okay. I can combine these two terms in the center. And that is all I can do. All done. Okay, so the next page has us looking at compositions graphically. So number 10 down here says, let's find h of 2. So I'm going to find where the h equation is graphed, and it's here. This one on top is h of x. It wants me to find out what is the y value when the x value is 2. So I'm going to locate 2 on the x-axis. Here's positive 2 on the x-axis. And then I'm going to go find the graph of h. Where is the graph of h? And it is here. So this number 10 is asking me, what is the y value when x is 2? In this case, the y value is also 2. So my answer here is 2. Okay, this spot right here is actually the coordinate to 2. Okay, moving on. The next one is a composition. Okay, so the very first step is going to be to rewrite this h of k of negative 4. H of k of negative 4. You always start on the inside. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to negative 4 on the x-axis. So here's negative 4 on the x-axis, and I want to locate the k equation, which is here. Okay, so when x is negative 4, I go to k, and I want to know what is the y coordinate there. It would be negative 7. So k of negative 4 is negative 7. Now it's asking me to find h of negative 7. So I go again. I go through the same process. I locate negative 7 on the x-axis. Negative 7 on the x-axis. And then I go to find the graph of h. The graph of h is here. What is the y coordinate of h when x is negative 7? The y coordinate would be 3. And that is your answer. Okay, so you pause the video and try to do the last one by yourself without any help, and then check to see what you get. First step is to rewrite this, g of f of negative 1. We're going to go up to the top graph. We're going to locate negative 1 on the x-axis and find the graph f. Negative 1 on the x-axis, find the graph of f. And what is the y value there? When x is negative 1, y is 4. So the answer for this part in here is negative 4. Now what it is telling me to do is go find g of negative 4. So now I locate negative 4 on the x-axis. Here's negative 4. Then I find the graph of g. And they want to know what is the y value at that particular spot. And the y value would be negative 1. Okay, hopefully now you're ready to take your reassessment for compositions. If you have any questions, please let me know.